This is the story behind the largest expansion to the LEGO Aquarium project so far, with a massive new build. Make sure to stick around to the end of this video to see how the new module fits together with the previous two sections. This is the LEGO Stingray exhibit. Hey everyone, I'm Adam, aka Ant Bandit, and welcome back to another video in this ongoing series where we're building the world's largest LEGO aquarium park. And today, we're not at the studio, we're actually at the Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga. This is one of my favorite real-life aquariums, and it has so many amazing saltwater and freshwater animals and some incredible exhibits. But today, we're here to look at just one, and that is the Stingray Touch Pool.
This is a pretty big exhibit by touch tank standards, which is what I really love. The rays don't have to interact with us, they choose to.
This is Kyle, a senior aquarist taking care of Stingray Bay, and he's been here working at the Tennessee Aquarium since 2011.
This is our largest touch tank, about 9,000 gallons. It's got animals from all over the world. So to come here and touch a stingray really drives home that connection. Like, this is why I should care about the ocean and what's happening to it, because I've come here and experienced these animals firsthand. I wanted to create an environment that is great for the animals while also allowing us to interact with them ourselves. It's got a lot of three-dimensional shape to it. So it's not just a rectangle tank. We have a lot of, we call it shoreline. Basically, there's a big edge to the tank so that you can have many guests interacting at one time. Over here, the walls are pretty high. There's a step for kids to be able to climb up on, to be able to reach in there. This window uphill behind us, that's really low. We have a wheelchair accessible window. You get to come here and see these animals in this environment like this, but to be able to get your hands wet and actually, touch a stingray, it really deepens that connection, especially for kids, just to really, have lifelong connection to the ocean like that.
Now, at the same time that I was respectfully touching up on these stingrays, which by the way was a huge treat, so big thanks to the Tennessee Aquarium, I was also taking a ton of mental notes on the exhibit itself and some key details that I knew had to be included in our LEGO Stingray exhibit. So after being fully inspired, I got back to my studio and started sketching things out, because as you know, every good build starts with... For this exhibit, we're going full coral reef theme, with a large figure-8 shaped tank below for the stingrays, surrounded by a decorative awning covered in brightly colored coral. There will be plenty of room around the tank for guests to interact with the stingrays, and a couple hand washing stations as well. And we'll add some motorized movement with the stingrays swimming around. And because of that hidden mechanism underneath, we're gonna have to raise up the entire exhibit just a little bit, so we'll add steps for the guests to access everything. The footprint of this exhibit is going to be the largest in the layout so far, at two 48 by 48 base plates. But why does it need to be this big? Well, that's due to the size of the LEGO Stingrays that we're going to be using. The brown one first appeared in 2020 in 2 sets and an affordable poly bag, and the blue one so far has only appeared in 1 set from 2023. There are 3 other options that we could use here, starting with the original black manta mold from the 90s. This one is larger by comparison, but in my opinion lacks that modern detail. Then we have 2 recolors of the same Stingray mold from an Avatar and a Ninjago set. And to me, the colors on these look pretty unnatural and intentionally alien, so we're gonna stick to the more realistic style of the other Stingrays. But I did want to get a professional opinion on these, so back at the aquarium, I made sure to show these to Kyle to get his thoughts.
This is a blue spotted ray. It's known as the Cool's Mask Ray. Blue spotted rays, they get about this big. So to have it next to your guy, blue spotted ray is not that big, is what I'm trying to say. So this one here, it kind of looks like the leopard whip ray. They get, really, really big across. So this is kind of accurate. They're a really big stingray. They're not blue, but the way the spots are irregular like that, it looks like that leopard whip ray.
So LEGO, consider this an official petition for some more accurate stingrays. But with conventions around the corner, it was time to jump into the build process. As usual, I started with the most difficult thing, which was sketching out a prototype for the motorized mechanism. The idea here was to have 2 groups of stingrays rotating on clear supports, with the center being covered by a stationary rock. The flat gear train would run underneath the exhibit all the way back to the motor hidden inside, but the only problem is that motor needs to be slowed down significantly, with a ton of gears that take up a lot of space. And this is where things started to go south.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is the hardest part about building anything, is just, I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall, trying to come up with a solution, and nothing is working. This works, but it's just way too big, takes up way too much space. There's barely any room between the wall and the mechanism here, and this gives us a lot more space, but it's just way too jumpy. The movement doesn't look good at all. I've tried rebuilding this in so many different iterations, and nothing is helping. This is really frustrating.
Finally, after days of struggling, I came up with this. Now, I'm not an engineer, so this is still kind of janky, but this solution takes the mechanism that gears the speed of the motor down and turns it vertical instead of horizontal, giving us more space to work with in the exhibit and still that smooth and slow movement for the Stingrays. With that obstacle behind me, I started laying down plates and tiles for the ground around the touch tank, along with getting started on the hand washing stations. I'm really proud of how these little sinks turned out, and yes, that is a real Lego mirror piece from an actual set. The hand washing stations do a great job of concealing all the moving parts while still giving us easy access if we need to get to them. With the ground floor done, it was time to get to work on the massive coral shelf awnings that would wrap around the entire exhibit. And even though it's all decorative, I still want it to look like a natural underwater rocky coral formation with lots of openings and smooth curved edges. Big shout out to Firebird Bricks, who supplied a huge amount of parts from his Christophsis muck from a while back that gave me a nearly endless supply of plates and bricks in that bright media measure color. I topped it all off with a bunch of random designs for coral all over the roof and even wrapping around the corners on the backside. After days and days of lots of hard work, the Stingray exhibit was finally done. So I packed it up along with the other 2 aquarium modules for its big debut at Brickworld. And after a 13-hour-long drive, I pulled into the hotel parking lot ready to display it the very next day. And that's when this happened. So this is what's left of the Stingray exhibit. I opened my trunk in the hotel parking lot, and the box that decided to tumble out of the back was this one. And the pieces went everywhere. I scooped all the pieces back into the box, so everything is hopefully here. I'm definitely gonna be reevaluating how I transport mocks to conventions, because this is like the second time this has happened. The beautiful thing about Lego is that it does go back together. So let's go ahead and start over. Oh my gosh. If you take anything away from this video, if you've got your own creative project or goal you're striving for and you keep suffering setbacks, keep at it. Don't give up. Even if it's taking you longer than expected, I promise the end result will be worth it. Here's a look at the finished Stingray touch pool. Enjoy. Despite all the challenges, I am so happy with how this model looks completed. A few cool things to point out: we've got a station for guests to pick up some seafood to give to the Stingrays, accessible viewing windows all around the tank, and speaking of accessibility, there's a removable compartment in the back to access the battery boxes. And every exhibit needs a good aquarist, so here we have Kyle in minifig form, along with his wife Jennifer, who he actually met while working at the aquarium, which is really cool. And finally, here's what you've been waiting for: a look at the entire layout all together, which looks amazing. In total, it measures just under 6 feet long, and I needed 2 tables and a larger room just to get this footage, but I love how all 3 exhibits look next to each other, especially when they're packed with guests enjoying all the animals. I plan on exhibiting this entire layout at LEGO conventions in the future, so definitely keep an eye out for it. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the Stingray exhibit, and type in what animal you think we should do next. And while you're down there, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Once again, a big thank you to Kyle and the Tennessee Aquarium for letting us come and film. If you're ever in the Chattanooga area, make sure to check it out. As someone who goes to a lot of aquariums, this one is more than worth your time. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Adam, and I'll see you in the next one.